A bhikkhu is an ordained male monastic in Buddhism. A female monastic is called the bhikkhuni. The lives of all Buddhist monastics are governed by a set of rules called the prātimokṣa or pātimokkha. The lifestyles are shaped to support the spiritual practice, to live a simple and meditative life and attain nirvana. A person under the age of 20 cannot be ordained as a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni but can be ordained as a sramana or a sramanari. Definition: Bhikkhu literally means beggar, or one who lives by alms. The historical Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, having abandoned a life of pleasure and status, lived as an alms mendicant as part of his sramana lifestyle. Those of his more serious students who abandoned their lives as householders and came to study full-time under his supervision also adopted this lifestyle. These full-time student members of the Sangha became the community of ordained monastics who wandered from town to city throughout the year, living off alms and stopping in one place only for the vasa, the rainy months of the monsoon season. In the Dhammapada commentary of Buddhism, a bhikkhu is defined as the person who sees danger. He therefore seeks ordination to obtain release from it. The Dhammapada states, he is not a monk just because he lives on others' alms. Not by adopting outward form does one become a true monk. Whoever here lives a holy life, transcending both merit and demerit, and walks with understanding in this world, he is truly called a monk. For historical reasons, the full ordination for women has been unavailable to Theravada and Vajrayana practitioners. Although recently the full ordination for women has been reintroduced to many areas, see Ordination of Women in Buddhism. Ordination. Theravada monasticism is organized around the guidelines found within a division of the Pali Canon called the Vinaya Pitaka. Laypeople undergo ordination as a novitiate in a rite known as the going forth ceremonies are subject to the 10 precepts. For the full ordination may take place, bhikkhus are subject to a much longer set of rules known the pātimokkha or prātimokṣa. Mahayana. In the Mahayana, monasticism is part of the system of vows of individual liberation. These vows are taken by monks and nuns from the ordinary Sangha in order to develop personal ethical discipline. In Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism, the term Sangha is in principle often understood to refer particularly to the Arya Sangha, the community of the noble ones who have reached the first boon. These, however, need not be monks or nuns. The vows of individual liberation are taken in 4 steps. A layperson may take the 5 upasaka and upasika vows. The next step is to enter the pabhajari monastic way of life, which includes wearing monks' and nuns' robes. After that one can become a samana or a samanari novice. The last and final step is to take all the vows of a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, fully ordained monastic. Monastics take the vows for life but can renounce them and return to non-monastic life and even take the vows again later. A person can take them up to 3 times or 7 times in one life, depending on the particular practices of each school of discipline. After that, the Sangha should not accept them again. In this way, Buddhism keeps the vows clean. It is possible to keep them or to live this lifestyle, but it is considered extremely negative to break these vows. In Tibet, the upasaka, pravraja and bhiksu ordinations are usually taken at ages 6, 14 and 21 or older, respectively. Robes. The special dress of ordained people, referred to in English as robes, comes from the idea of wearing a simple durable form of protection for the body from weather and climate. In each tradition there is uniformity in the color and style of dress. Color is often chosen due to the wider availability of certain pigments in a given geographical region. In Tibet and the Himalayan regions, red is the preferred pigment used in the dyeing of robes. In Burma, reddish-brown. In India, Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, various shades of yellow, ochre and orange prevail. In China, Korea, Japan and Vietnam grey or black is common. Monks often make their own robes from cloth that is donated to them. The robes of Tibetan novices and monks differ in various aspects, especially in the application of holes in the dress of monks. Some monks tear the robes in two pieces and then mend these pieces together again. Upasakas cannot wear the chogu, a yellow tissue worn during teachings by both novices and full monks. In observance of the Kathina Puja, a special Kathina robe is made in 24 hours from donations by lay supporters of a temple. The robe is donated to the temple or a monastery, and the resident monks then select from their own number a single monk to receive this special robe. Additional vows in the Mahayana and Vajrayana traditions. In Mahayana traditions, a bhikkhu may take additional vows not related to ordination, including the bodhisattva vows, samaya vows, and others, which are also open to lay persons in most instances. Monks in Japan, Sayoko petitioned for a Mahayana ordination platform to be built in Japan. Permission was granted 7 days after his death, and the platform was completed in 827 by his disciple Gishin. Sayoko believed the 250 precepts were for the Ravakayana and that ordination should use the Mahayana precepts of the Brahmajala Sutra. He stipulated that monastics remain on Mount Hiei for 12 years of isolated training and follow the major themes of the 250 precepts: celibacy, non-harming, no intoxicants, vegetarian eating, and reducing labor for gain. After 12 years, monastics would then use the Vinaya precepts as a provisional or supplemental guideline to conduct themselves by when serving in non-monastic communities. Tendai monastics followed this practice. During Japan's Meiji Restoration during the 1870s, the government abolished celibacy and vegetarianism for Buddhist monastics in an effort to secularize them and promote the newly created state. Shinto. Japanese Buddhists won the right to proselytize inside cities, ending a 500-year ban on clergy members entering cities. After the Japan-Korea Treaty of 1910, when Japan annexed Korea, Korean Buddhism underwent many changes. Jodo Shinshu and Nichiren schools began sending missionaries to Korea under Japanese rule, and new sects formed such as One Buddhism. The Temple Ordinance of 1911 changed the traditional system whereby temples were run as a collective enterprise by the Sangha, replacing this system with Japanese-style management practices in which temple abbots appointed by the Governor-General of Korea were given private ownership of temple property and given the rights of inheritance to such property. More importantly, monks from pro-Japanese factions began to adopt Japanese practices by marrying and having children. Currently, priests in Japan choose to observe vows as appropriate to the family situation. Celibacy and other forms of abstaining are generally at will, for varying periods of time. In Korea, the practice of celibacy varies. The two sects of Korean Seon divided in 1970 over this issue. The Jogye order is fully celibate, while the Tarago order has both celibate monastics and non-celibate Japanese-style priests. Gallery.